not sure where to begin, but I suppose I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Sarah, and I'm a 28-year-old woman who got married to my now husband, John, 6 months ago. John and I have known each other since high school, and we were always good friends, but we didn't start dating until a few years ago. We actually reconnected at our high school reunion 2 years ago that we both attended and started talking at. I found out that he was a single dad with a 2-year-old son. Apparently, his kid's bio mom didn't want to be in their life, and so he was raising the kid by himself. I just melted when I heard that. We started talking over Facebook after that and discovered that we only lived around 40 minutes away from each other. After that, we started going out sometimes and soon started dating. I met his son, and honestly, it was like love at first sight. Things got serious with John as well, and we decided to get married. Less than a year after running into each other at that fated reunion. It might seem like a bit of a hasty decision, and after what happened, I can confidently say that I regret it. But back then, it just felt like we were meant to be. I thought I had found my perfect family. One thing about John is that he has always been an adventurous guy who loves to travel and explore new places. He actually met my stepson's bio mom during one of his trips. I'm more of a homebody, but I love John and was willing to go along with his plans. Before we got married, John told me that he had planned a 2-week trip to Europe for us to take after our wedding. I was hesitant at first, but I eventually agreed, and we spent the next few months planning and preparing for the trip. We got married in a beautiful ceremony with our families and friends in attendance. It was the happiest day of my life, and I felt like everything was perfect. However, things took a turn for the worse shortly after we returned from our honeymoon. A few days after we got back home, John sat me down and told me that he had to leave for another trip. This time it was a solo trip to South America, and he would be gone for 12 weeks. I was shocked and upset that he would leave me so soon after our wedding, but John reassured me that he would be back soon and that he loved me. The next few weeks were tough. I was left alone with our 4-year-old son, Alex, and I had to take care of everything by myself. I was exhausted and overwhelmed, but I tried my best to be strong for my son. I missed John terribly, but I tried not to let it show. Finally, after 12 long weeks, John came back home. He was happy to see me and Alex, but I could tell that something was off. He was distant and moody, and he spent a lot of time on his phone and computer. I tried to talk to him about it, but he always brushed me off and told me that everything was fine. I tried to believe him, but couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. One day, out of the blue, I woke up to an empty bed with a note from John saying that he needed to leave and that I shouldn't try to reach out to him. My first reaction was to run to Alex's room. I saw that he was peacefully sleeping. I was so upset. A million thoughts were running around in my head. Had he just left us again? Where was he now? I tried reaching out to him, but he had blocked me everywhere. I couldn't even call him. I was just absolutely devastated. A week after John left, his mother showed up at our door. I was surprised to see her, but I welcomed her inside. She seemed nice initially, but as soon as we sat down to talk, she started berating me and accusing me of ruining John's life. According to her, I was a terrible wife who didn't support John's dreams and ambitions. She said that I was holding him back and that he would be better off without me. I was shocked and hurt by her words, and I tried to defend myself, but she wouldn't listen. Then she dropped a bombshell. John had told her that he was planning to leave me and that he wanted a divorce. His mother told me that John had already started the divorce proceedings and that I needed to leave the house immediately. She also told me that she would be taking Alex with her because that's what John wanted. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that John would do this to me, and I felt like my world was falling apart. But something inside me snapped, and I decided that I wasn't going to go down without a fight. I told John's mother the truth about what had happened. I told her about the 12-week trip that John had planned and how he had left me alone with Alex to go on a solo trip to South America. I told her about how he had been distant and moody since he came back and had left without notice, and I didn't even know where he was. She wouldn't believe me at first, but I showed him all the text I had sent John while he was in South America. She went through everything and finally believed me. To say she was shocked would be an understatement. She was completely horrified. She apologized to me repeatedly for being nasty to me and said that if she had any idea what was going on, she would have helped me. She then told me that she would make John pay for his actions and cut him off from the family money completely by leaving everything to Alex in the trust fund till he turns 21. She asked if I needed her to take care of Alex till we reached a solution regarding John, but I'm honestly happy to have him and see him as my son. She did offer to help financially, which I was glad to accept. Kids are expensive. The whole thing happened yesterday, and I haven't had any contact with John since then. I honestly don't know how he'll react. I've been thinking about our marriage as well, and I don't know if I still want to be married to him. Update 1. I was really not expecting the overwhelming amount of support and encouragement that I've received from the Reddit community. So many people shared their stories and offered advice, and it really helped me to feel less alone during this difficult time. I am so grateful for all the kind words and messages. It has given me the strength to keep fighting for Alex and myself. To clarify some things, John does have a job of his own. He's a freelance writer and writes about his travels mostly. Honestly, he's pretty good, but it's not his job that pays for his lifestyle, it's his family's money. John's family has been in print media for generations. His grandfather founded a newspaper that is still quite popular, and they also have a publishing house of their own. His mom handles all the business since his dad passed away years ago when we were in college. My mother-in-law has cut him off financially and canceled all his credit cards. He hasn't reached out to me yet, but I'm sure he'll do so in no time. Alex keeps asking where Dad is, and every time I look at him, my heart just breaks. I'm just really glad to have my mother-in-law by my side. Update 2. Guess who finally showed up? My husband was absolutely furious when he realized his credit card was canceled. He was in Alaska apparently and had to ask a friend for money to fly back home. After coming back, he decided to visit my mother-in-law instead of seeing me and Alex, and she told him that she knows everything and that he wouldn't get a penny from her anymore. You can imagine how angry he was. He showed up at our place completely red with anger. We had a huge fight, and he told me I was ruining his life by feeding lies to his mom. I didn't back down either and told him if he doesn't leave, I'll call the cops. He left fuming, telling me that he'll make sure I pay for what I've done. The moment he left, I called my mother-in-law. She helped me get a protective order against my husband, and we've started the divorce process. I'm really glad Alex and I have her by our side. Things are pretty uncertain now, but I'm hopeful that something will work out for the best. Again, thanks for all of your kind words. I truly appreciate them. Update 3. Wow, it has been nearly 6 months since my last update. I'm sorry for not updating you guys earlier, but so many things have been happening that this completely slipped my mind. After a lot of legal battles and negotiations, I am happy to say that I am now divorced from John. Many people ask me if I would try to get custody of Alex during the divorce, but honestly, that would get extremely complicated legally as he is the only biological parent, and we've barely been married for a year. Although I do have some good news for you guys. John's mother has been a tremendous help throughout the process, and she holds sole custody of Alex as his biological grandmother. Her excellent lawyers proved that John wasn't a reliable parent because he had left Alex in my care multiple times, and he didn't have a stable source of income. It was a very complicated and exhausting trial, but John's mother won in the end. She is still incredibly nice to me and tells me that I can see Alex anytime I want. Poor baby doesn't understand what's happening, but he's adjusting well to living with his grandma, and I see him practically every other day. I really couldn't have done any of this without her. John has been ordered to pay alimony and is not allowed to contact me or Alex unless it's through our lawyer. It has been a long and difficult road, but I am relieved to finally have some closure and to be able to move on with my life. Your ex-husband is a deadbeat, and I'm really glad the kid is not under his care anymore. I'm pretty sure he only married you so that he has someone to care for his son 24/7 in the first place. You're quite lucky to have your mother-in-law by your side. Opinion 2. Some people don't deserve to be parents. You have handled this situation quite well, OP. I honestly don't know what I would have done in your situation. I'm glad Alex is in a safe home now and that you've managed to get rid of your pathetic husband as well. Good luck in the future. Next story. We're in a bad situation. My husband's brother Jack and his wife Linda passed away in a car accident and left behind 2 kids, 14 female and 11 male. My in-laws are devastated, as are the kids, are the grandparents, but since they're all living in assisted living, they can't take in the kids. They want the kids to stay in the family, so they want the kids to go to one of Jack or Linda's siblings, Sam, his sister, or Linda's brother George or sister Amy. The kids are currently staying with George, though his wife only took them in because she thought it would be temporary. Money is tight for them, and recently she told him that she'd leave him if it turns out he tricked her into taking the kids permanently. Now, George wants out. Sam's sister lives by with roommates in New York. So it's down to us and Amy. Amy told the grandparents that Sam and I will, without asking us first. All 5 people have called Sam at some point to tell him it's the right thing to do. But we really can't. Our house only has 3 bedrooms and we have 3 kids. We cannot afford a bigger one and there is no basement. Amy says we are the only ones who could take in the kids because she and her husband are child-free and so don't know how to take care of kids. And if we don't, we'll likely be responsible for her brother's divorce. She says since both me and my husband work, we have the extra income and we already have 3 kids, so what's 2 more? The income part is not true. We're tight on money too. Also, Linda's sister is married to a Big 4 consultant who makes more than both Sam and I combined. So I don't understand why she can't take the kids and learn to parent. She just says she and her husband travel a lot. He travels for work, but she likes to tag along. Last night, my in-laws called again to beg us to take the kids. Sam is thinking about giving in, but I told him no. I'm already working longer hours just to make sure our kids have college fund. Also, I didn't work those all-nighters just so my kids could either not go to college or take out huge debts. I said I still think Linda's sister should have to give up her traveling with her husband before we make our kids cram into the same room and spend their college funds on their cousins. Sam said we should ask the kids to see if they're okay with it, which really pissed me off. I'm not passing the guilt to my kids so some flighty woman can vacation with her husband while everybody else struggles to make ends meet. At the moment, I considered telling Sam that if he dared to involve our kids, I'd leave him too. The only reason I haven't is because I don't want Jack and Linda's kids to think that they're causing everyone's marriages to break down. Still, this is a really bad situation, and I feel bad for the kids. I told Sam we need to convince the grandparents to either find distant relatives, we can help search, or get Amy out of her permanent vacation. AITA? Edit. To clarify, no, Jack and Linda did not leave anything for their kids, not even life insurance or a house. This would not be a problem otherwise. Nobody except Amy's husband has extra money to help us out financially. Amy has said already she does not want to help, including get a bigger place. We do not have the money or space for the kids, but would take the kids if we did. Edit 2. For the people who keep asking, if Sam and I die, our children will go to my parents because that's what it says in my will and I have life insurance. Edit 3. For those of you who think I should give up my children's college funds because they might not want to go to college, they already said they do. I did not start taking extra work to save for them until I talked about college with them. You do not get to make decisions for my children any more than Amy does. Update. Thank you to the people who posted good advice and the people who sent resources in direct messaging. I called my state's Department of Children's Services about getting approval as foster parents. They said we can only have 2 kids per room and they must be of the same gender. So Sam and I do not meet the minimum requirements for housing unless we only take the boy. There is no way the kids or the grandparents will agree to splitting up the kids. They also said we cannot use an RV to count for a bedroom. I also called about the kids' Social Security. They can get $900 a month in benefits because the amount seems to depend on how much their parents worked. Jack worked sometimes and Linda did not. Sam and I have explained that we are not legally eligible to take the kids to the grandparents. They now think Amy should take the kids, but I don't think she's going to. Either way, we are staying out of their talk with her, which is a nicer thing than what she did to us. I'm going to try a few other things to help find the kids a place to stay. One idea was to make Amy ask her and her husband's friends to help find good and safe foster parents, and we can visit the children if they want us to. I think she will do it this time because she is the only one left who can legally take the children, unless the law in Georgia state is different. For the people who are child-free, I don't mind that people choose to be child-free or want to stay child-free, but Amy cannot volunteer me and my husband without asking us, and then expect that we will not ask her to spend some effort in helping the kids find a place to stay, even if not with her. Making some phone calls will not stop her from being child-free. Her choice to be child-free does not mean she gets to freely be mean to us by first trying to push responsibility on us, and then run away from all responsibility when it comes to light that only she, among the family members, is qualified to take the children. Wow, so sad. What a tough situation. Clearly, this won't be easy on anyone. If your well-off relatives don't want to take in the kids so they can maintain their lifestyle, and you can't manage it financially, would it be possible to work out a situation where you take in the children, but they contribute financially toward their upbringing? This is a whole family situation and shouldn't land on just one part of the family. Everyone should be willing to pitch in to help, but it sounds like no one is. ESH, big time. NTA for being scared to take the financial responsibility of 2 more kids. That's a lot. It sucks that you were just told that you had to take on this task without being asked, and because other adults choose their lifestyle over 2 kids that just lost their parents. But this is where you are in life. Do you have to take on the task of raising these children? No. You are under no obligations and you can choose to walk away. But before you do so, ask yourself, can you live with that guilt? I understand the financial burden this would put on your family, so before you make any decision, contact CPS and see what services are available to you to help raise these kids. As orphans, they should be entitled to Social Security benefits and free college, and I'm sure a few more things. By doing this, you can make an informed decision. But if you are going to resent these children, do not take them in. If you cannot love them and help them heal, do not take them. If you cannot love them like you do your children, do not take them. These kids do not deserve any of that. ESH. Amy is in the wrong for pushing the kids on you, but you are also an a-hole, not for not taking the kids, but because you are trying to push them on a child-free couple. The way you talk about Amy, you despise her for being child-free. Well, guess what, OP? People are allowed to be child-free. It doesn't make their time any less valuable than yours. No, they shouldn't have to learn to parent because it's not the life they want. As a child-free person myself, I can say I hate people like you who think they are better because they popped out kids. Also, in my experience, people who talk shit about child-free people are the ones who are jealous. Let the woman travel and live her life and stop being such a holier-than-thou stuck up. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.